and the weakening of the liberal class. What we lost were the impediments against a rapacious corporate capitalism. And it began probably with the Taft-Hartley Act. I mean, every achievement of the New Deal was rolled back. The last one probably being in 1999, given to us by Lawrence Summers with the destruction of Glass-Steagall, which protected our banking system. There is no banking crisis in Canada because Chrétien did not tear down the firewalls between commercial and investment banks. And by the early 1970s, in the words of the Harvard historian Charles Mayer, we began to shift from what he called an empire of production to an empire of consumption, which meant that we started to borrow to maintain both a lifestyle and an empire we could no longer afford. We saw the decimation of the manufacturing base in this country and the ability of global corporations to create a kind of worldwide neo-feudalism. There was actually a pretty good story in the New York Times a few days ago about the conditions of workers in China who make Apple products. And what happens is the American worker is now told that they have to be competitive in a global marketplace, which means that they have to be competitive with sweatshop workers in Bangladesh who make 22 cents an hour, or prison labor in China. In that two-part series in the Times, they quote Steve Jobs when Obama asks him why, and there's between sort of subsidiaries of Apple, the 700,000 people are employed, why some of those jobs can't come back, and Jobs apparently curtly answered, those jobs are never coming back. So we lost our radical movements. Our liberal institutions were weak, severely weakened. That's how figures like Henry Wallace, Roosevelt's vice president, 1948, runs for president himself, is tarred with being soft on communism. It's the tactic that Nixon used quite effectively, whether against Helen Cahill Douglas or other candidates, including, of course, McGovern. It becomes a way of shutting out anybody with a conscience, anybody who seeks any kind of redress to the rising social inequities that are taking place in the country. Manufacturing starts to leave. You have a huge rise in deficits. Of course, now we have, I think, the largest deficits in human history, which we can't repay. For me, one of the sort of low points in American history comes with the arrival of Bill Clinton. Clinton, who speaks that traditional language of that feel-your-pain language of liberalism, but assiduously serves the interests of corporations. And that becomes the template for the new liberal. The words don't in any way match the actions. So it's Clinton that shoves through NAFTA, the greatest betrayal of the working class in this country since Taft-Hartley. It's Clinton that destroys welfare. It's Clinton that deregulates the FCC, so Clear Channel and Rupert Murdoch's News Corp can buy up. I think Clear Channel runs 1,500 radio stations across the country. It's Clinton that deregulates the banking system under Larry Summers. And like Obama, Clinton is, certainly knows where the centers of power lie. And by the 1990s, the Democratic Party has fundraising parity with the Republicans, and by the time Obama runs for president in 2004, the Democrats are getting more.